Sweet. Hello, all you beautiful people. I'm Psychotic Spoon. This is Axelay for the Super Nintendo. Before we get started, I'm going to let the intro play out for about 20 or 30 seconds. I'll explain why at the end. It all kind of ties back together with a nice little bow on top. Alright, well that's enough of that. Let's get this thing started here. I'm going to check my setup. I'm going to be playing on hard, just because I like it on hard. Let's get going though. Alright, so 3, 2, 1, let's jam. Oh, why am I... Oh, we're good, we're good. Cool, so this is Axelay. Axelay is a 16-bit shoot-'em-up, but it differentiates itself from other 16-bit shoot-'em-ups of the time in a couple different ways. First of all, you've got both horizontal and vertical scrolling sections. It'll switch between these every level. And I think the game has a lot of really neat graphical flourishes. Like on these vertical scrolling sections, you can see it looks like you're approaching the horizon of this planet. They've got some really neat scanline effects to make that effect possible. Never mind that this planet you're flying on is the size of a Coke can. Pretty small, but that's cool. The other neat thing about this game is that there are no power-ups anywhere in this game. Instead, what happens is at the beginning of every level, you choose your weapon loadout. You've got 3 different weapon slots. You've got a front gun like this, you've got a side gun like this, and you've got a missile slot like this. And when you start the game, you only have one choice for each weapon, but after each level, you unlock an additional weapon. You can switch between these weapons on the fly. Some weapons are more important and more useful in certain situations than other ones. The other neat thing about these weapons is they double as kind of a health meter. So if you take a hit from a bullet or a laser beam, some kind of minor gun, it only disables your currently selected weapon. You're left with your remaining weapons. So if you take one hit, you're left with 2 weapons. You take another hit, you're left with 1. The final hit, you're just left with your pea shooter and your really basic missiles. So I'm going to be taking advantage of that throughout this run in a couple of ways. First, if it looks like I'm going to take a hit, I'll switch to a weapon that I don't really care about and just like deliberately take that damage. There'll also be times where I'll just damage boost on purpose and then use that invincibility frames in order to keep using a more important weapon. So the most important weapon in this run by far is the macro missiles. That's these things here. Direct hit from the macro missiles deals a whopping 18 damage. That's more damage than any other weapon in the game by far. I think it's like 3 or 4 times more damage. And that was discovered by JKL and Lay Hulk. JKL found a quick kill on the second boss here, and then Lay Hulk went back and figured out why it was so fast. But there's a trick to the macro missiles. Because after you hit an enemy with a macro missile, like this guy, they'll explode for about a second. Those explosions only deal 1 damage per frame, which is not very much. But the problem is, on bosses, those explosions will activate the boss's invincibility frames. So if you just keep spamming those missiles over and over and over again, you won't get that magical 18 damage. Because when the next missile hits, he'll already have his invincibility frames. So what you want to do is time these missiles so the next one hits right after the previous one's explosions end. So that's what I'm going to try to do here on this boss. This boss is Retrothon. He's a giant, scary-looking spider dude. He's got a few different attacks. I could just guess just 2. One thing you can do is you can fire out this web thing and try to slow our ship down and try to fire some bullets at us. Second thing you do, he can launch out these little spider buddies to try to shoot at us as well. We're just going to try to get right in his face, keep hitting him over and over again here. Hit him right in the eye socket. Oops. It's alright, he kind of rammed me. He got upset that I damaged his ship there. And that should be it. Cool. So that's the first level. We'll move on to the second level. I know I've mentioned this before, but I think one thing that really makes this game stand out is a lot of graphical details. I love the beginning of this stage here. There are these satellites in the background that have just been completely eviscerated. They're arcing with electricity, and you're just like flying through them. The music in this game is really great too, which is annoying because I'm going to be talking pretty much this entire time and drowning out all that fantastic music. Sorry, guys. So this weapon that I'm using right here, this is the Round Vulcan. We're going to be seeing this throughout the entire run. The neat thing about the Round Vulcan is that when you hold down the shoot button, it swings around to the front of your ship, like where it is now. And when you release the shoot button, it'll swing around back behind you. And so by tapping the button, you can control where it aims and kind of shoot up or down or left or right, whatever direction you want. Now we just saw those static turrets hanging out at the floor and ceiling. There's also these dynamic turrets that can walk back and forth. They can also jump your shots. So we're going to play jump rope with this guy for a little bit. Just for fun. We got 5 jumps out of it. That's pretty good. I've gotten up to 8 jumps with that guy. We can play some more jump rope with these guys. So the story behind this level is that this is a colonizing ship. This invading armada came and destroyed your home planet. And now this is the colonizing ship that's coming to take over. So if you look in the background, you can kind of see these SimCity-esque city blocks. I assume they're just full of colonists coming to hang out. Probably just a bunch of like innocent people who aren't involved in these military actions, but we're just going to kill them all anyway. I'm angry and bitter that they attacked my planet. And I love this part too. You've got this bridge in the background. It's overlooking this beautiful planet. Man, if I lived on this colonizing ship, I would just go out to that bridge every day and just go stare at that planet. And we don't need to invade that planet. Come on, guys. It looks so nice and serene and peaceful. Gonna fight these other quadrupus. Another quadrupus. So I'm playing on hard difficulty. The fastest version of this game is easy, but by the time you can beat, there's a lot of memorization you have to do in order to beat this game on hard consistently. By the time you've got all these strategies memorized, I think easy is just kind of boring. No offense to anyone who runs easy, and it is the fastest version of the game. It is the purest speedrun version, but I just don't find it interesting anymore. The primary difference between the difficulty levels is just the number of bullets that these enemies shoot. On higher difficulty levels, there's just a lot more bullets coming at you. I love this part. There's the same door that we went through earlier, but now it's been completely torn apart and ripped open. It's just very dark and scary and foreboding. Like, I don't know what's coming up, but it's going to be big and scary. Man, if they're ripping up their own space station, that can't be good. Alright, so this boss here is T-36 Tobar. He looks an awful lot like Ed 209 from RoboCop. This guy's got 3 different attacks. He's got this machine gun looking thing under his chin, which you can see here. He also has this giant laser beam that he kind of sweeps the room with. And when he does that, he leaves himself exposed and vulnerable for quite a while. So I'm going to try to manipulate him into shooting that. The way he can do that is, this guy starts at 192 health. If we can get him down to 128 health by the time he takes a step forward, there's a 50% chance that he'll fire his giant laser. I don't think I dealt enough damage to him, so I'm going to have to do a little bit slow kill here. And he's going to walk off screen like a jerk. The buddy. Back over here. This is kind of nice because you can squeeze in and kind of just ram him. Oh, are you still alive, dude? Come on. Here we go. So that was a bit of a slow kill. Machine gun. I love it. I love it. Alright, so for this next level, we've unlocked a Needlecracker. The Needlecracker is a fantastic weapon if you're playing casually. It fires 6 little lasers around your ship in a hexagon pattern, and then each of those lasers will move towards a nearby enemy, so it's kind of got this light homing ability. Unfortunately, it creates a ton of lag, so I'm not going to be using it in this run. I'm just going to stick with this. These guys shoot a bunch of boogers at you, and they kind of aim at you. They're hard to dodge, so I'm just going to hide down in the corner. Now, this game was made by Konami. Konami is a Japanese company, and so the cityscape that you see here is actually modeled after Tokyo. If you look closely, you can see some pretty famous Tokyo landmarks. I'll point out one up here. But of course Tokyo is famous for its above-ground piping system that's just floating up in the sky. So that's what we're seeing here. If you look to the left of my ship right now, that's Tokyo Tower. Kind of looks like the Eiffel Tower. Of course, Tokyo is very famous for its belly button lint deposits. You can see these belly buttons on the planet here. These guys are angry because we're coming to steal their belly button lint. Now this is the easiest mini-boss in the game. This guy, if you're to the left of him, he'll move to the left. If you're to the right of him, he'll move to the right. If you line up exactly in the middle here, he just can't touch you. You can just sit there and shoot him. That kill actually only works, well, you can still do it on the Japanese version. The Japanese version, you can only go down about this far on the screen, whereas the North American version, you can go down a little bit further. And that guy, he will run into you in the Japanese version if you try that kill. And you can still do it, it's just, you'll take a death. What's funny about all the mini-bosses in this game is that if you wait about 2 minutes without fighting them, without killing them, they'll eventually just all give up and leave. They're like, I guess you don't want to fight. And so it's really easy to do with that last mini-boss, because you can line up exactly in the middle and just go and sit at the bottom of the screen and not do anything, and just wait for them to give up and like head out. So we've got this other little pipe section. We're going to kind of fly through here a little bit. Cool. So this brings us to the boss of this level. It's named Retrothon. He's got 3 different forms. His first form, he's got these 4 orbiting lasers. We're just going to try to take them out. That's pretty quick. But now he's going to turn into this giant green, really beautiful witch's hat. He's just going to start spinning around and start spamming us with lots of little bullets here. So we're just going to try to avoid those and try to hit him with these missiles. Now if we're lucky, we should be able to get this guy in about 2 cycles. I think I'm going to be a bit slow here, yeah. That was a little slow, that's alright. But now he's angry that we damaged his witch's hat, so he's going to turn into this giant red angry lobster. Now this guy has very short invincibility frames, so it's just about as fast to use even a weak gun like the round Vulcan here to try to attack him. There we go. From that, we'll do this cool little dance here, kind of move left and right, and jet on out of here.
Arms installation is complete. Good luck.
At this point, we're going to travel through this cave. I think the manual says something like the radiation from the invading armada mutated all these plants and things in here or something. I don't know, it's silly. Like, why am I flying through a cave and fighting just a bunch of spiders or mites or flies or whatever these are? But we've got these anal sphincters up here at the top of the screen that are vomiting out spiders. Remember, kids, if your anal sphincter is vomiting out spiders, you should consult a doctor or a barber. Other than that, we've got these pods up at the top. We've got these centipede guys that will kind of reach out and try to grab you. I'm going to ignore them. You can shoot those pods and destroy them. And when you do, it releases these amoebas that come out. Those amoebas aren't dangerous, but they attach themselves to your ship. And they'll just drag your ship down. So I'm going to try to ignore them. Those amoebas are invincible. We'll see them later on in this level. The other hard thing about hard difficulty here is that there are a lot of enemies that when you shoot them, they fire bullets back at you. A lot of the spider mites, or whatever they are in this stage, will do that. So there's going to be parts on this level where I just don't even try to shoot them. Don't even bother. I'm going to try to shoot this thorn pod thing before it explodes. Yeah, I didn't get it. It's going to make this a little hairy. I think we're good. Alright, cool. Yeah, so like this part right here, there's going to be tons of little guys underneath me. And if they're not shooting at me, I'm not going to shoot at them. We're friends. We're buddies. Like, hey, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. At this point, the path bifurcates. You can either go above ground or below water. I'm going to go below water. I think it's easier down here. If you look at the background here, when you're below water, the water kind of diffracts the background. It kind of has this like ripple effect. And it only happens when you're below water. I just think it's a really neat effect. You can see when we're above water here, like the background is just plain normal to see. Just tons of little details like that. Same thing like when you're halfway out of the water, you get the spray effect from your ship. In fact, even your bullets have that spray effect. Just tons of little details. So my understanding is that this game didn't sell very well, and most of the people who worked on it at Konami ended up quitting Konami after this game didn't sell very well. But they went on to form their own company, a little thing you might have heard called Treasure. And Treasure went on to make a ton of really great games, like they made Ikaruga, what else was there? Gunstar Hero, just tons of great stuff. So it wasn't a complete loss. So this part, you've got these ice blocks, and you have to shoot your way through here to squeeze through. But embedded in here are those amoebas I was talking about earlier. So you just kind of want to be careful not to release too many of them. Alright. So now we're on to the boss of this stage. Now this boss is just chilling out at the top of the screen up here. Hey buddy, what are you doing up here? Fancy meeting you at this place. But he's going to start this earthquake, just going to drop a bunch of rocks on us. This guy's weird, he's got this purple gun attack, and that gun doesn't actually hurt you. But what it does do is it causes you to switch weapons uncontrollably. And so I'm just going to sit right in front of him. And it's not really dangerous, as long as you don't switch to a weapon that's disabled and then take a minor hit. And I'm kind of low on lives. I gotta step it up a little bit, man.
Arms installation is complete. Good luck.
Alright, now of course this is a Super Nintendo game, so there's gotta be a mandatory lava-themed level somewhere in here. So this is our mandatory lava-themed level. If there's anyone who's a fan of Frank Herbert's Dune, you got these dune worms, but they've upgraded. They're no longer hanging on the sand planet, they're now hanging on a lava planet. I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing about all these little details in this game, but if you look at the background here, or wherever there's lava, you can see that the heat waves are kind of refracting the air so that it makes it look like the lava is rippling. But everywhere else, where there's just like pipes and things, you don't get that rippling effect. But just another little detail. At this point, we've got these two satellites coming in with these orbiting cheese curds. I'm just going to try to take out one of them. There we go. And then I'm going to ignore his buddy. I'm just going to fight these guys that show up behind. Now this is a Konami shoot 'em up, so of course there's got to be these Gradius golden dragons in here somewhere. Those guys can create a lot of lag when they die, so I'm going to try to just juke them, let them fly off screen instead of killing them. I will kill that guy though, and this guy. Get out of here, buddy. Got some more of those nice worms coming in. More of them. Alright, so coming up here, we're going to have another pair of those golden dragons. I'm going to try to juke them too, but first I have to kill these satellites. Okay. Juke. Perfect. And other than that, this section there's just a bunch of mud balls that are being fired everywhere. You want to kind of just shoot as much as you can on screen and try to reduce lag through here. Perfect. Now this part's weird. There are these fireballs that come out of here, but they appear so quickly. I don't know how you're supposed to dodge them. So I always just go hang out in the bottom left corner. It's a safe spot, and then you don't have to worry about it. Other than that, we're going to approach Whaler. That's the boss from the cover of the game. This is very exciting. This guy, he's this giant lava robot monster dude. He's got a couple attacks. He'll try to reach out and grab us with his hands there. He'll try to splash around in the lava. He's also got this weird whip attack that he shoots out from his mouth. And the reason it's weird is because if you just sit at the bottom of the screen and don't move, oftentimes it'll just miss you completely, and you don't even have to worry about trying to dodge it. And it's really nice too because it leaves him exposed for a long time. Like he's got his hands in the way, so I can't hit his heart very well. Oh, here we go. Here's his weird attack. Oh, I guess I did take a hit there. That's fine. I'll just damage boost through there. Oh, that's it for that guy. So now this is my favorite level. This is the last level in the game. We've unlocked the final weapon, the wind laser, which we are going to take. Wind laser is great because it can shoot through walls. It's not particularly powerful, but that's alright. But the neat thing about this level is I had you guys watch the intro. If you remember the intro, it showed these big capital ships invading your planet. That's actually what we're fighting right now. So it's kind of this throwback to the intro, but like, in fact, the music from the intro is playing right now, but it's this remix. So the music in the intro is very sad and foreboding and scary, and now it's this like triumphant return, like, remember me, suckers? You try to invade my planet? Well, now I'm going to invade your face. How do you like that? You like that, huh? Huh? No, I'm going to destroy your little capital ships. My tiny little ship. I just think that's a great detail. The weird thing about this start of this level is that it wraps around vertically. So if you ever see like a bullet or a laser or anything coming from the top of the screen, it's actually coming from the bottom of the screen and wrapping around. So what you want to do is take out as many of the missile launchers and things as you can on these ships. And the easiest way to do that is there are these two command pods on top of the ship. And if you destroy both of them, then everything else on the rest of the ship will explode. Well, here's that first command pod. Take it out. Great. Here comes the second one. Perfect. Please leave me alone. Okay. That's really important. If you look at the back of the ship, there are 3 pods underneath it. Those things would be spewing out little fighter jets if I hadn't taken out those command posts. And those fighter jets, they aren't particularly tough, but there are so many of them that it's really hard to dodge. So it's just important that you take those things out. At this point, the music fades out. Like, we don't have that triumphant return. Now it gets, like, really dark and scary and foreboding. And if you listen closely, it sounds like the boss of the stage is, like, groaning at you. It's like, it's really creepy. We've got this chicken walker guy. This guy's never watched Apocalypse Now. He never learned how to lead the target. So you can pretty much just stay in one place, and he can't ever hit you. I'm going to try to juke him a little bit here, because he can create some lag if he's firing lots of bullets. this part. Get through these closing doors before they close on me. Cool. Alright, this next upcoming part is a giant pain. There are all these homing missile launchers everywhere, and I want to take them out from a safe place because they can be really hairy. And that's why I'm going to be using this wind laser a lot, because I can stay back behind these walls and take these guys out without exposing myself. Sorry, I'm going to be a bit quiet through this. Lots of parts of this level because they can get pretty hairy. We also got these pistons that they'll extend when you're not shooting them, so you have to shoot them to retract and kind of run through. I love this part. There's this junction where all these little ships coming through. I like to imagine these guys are just on their way to work. Just driving straight here through here. This part's a mess because there's two homing missile launchers on the top and bottom of the screen. I'm going to try to take all these things out. I took one hit, so that's alright. If you can get through there without dying, it's usually a win. Cool. Coming up here, this is the last mini-boss of the game. This guy starts off, he's got these two little crystal eyeballs at the top and bottom of the screen. I'm going to try to take them out before he becomes vulnerable here. I think I'm only going to take one out. But this boss is interesting. There's about a 12-second loop with this level, and if you don't kill this guy quickly enough, they'll just keep repeating over and over. So if I can kill this guy before I get to that 12-second loop part, then we'll save a good 12 seconds. I think we're on track. Yeah, I think I got it. Yeah. So we should get a pretty significant time save there. Leave me alone, please. Okay. Ah! Wow, I don't know how I survived that one. Alright, so this part's weird. There are these two giant lasers. And these lasers, if they hit you, they also disable your invincibility frame, so you'll just immediately take 2 hits. They're the only enemy in the game that does that. I am going to take 1 death here to get my weapons back. Alright, so this is the last boss of the game. I'm going to try to hit this guy from off screen. Keep using those macro missiles again. Oh, I took a hit. That's bad. So I'm going to try a quick kill here. I'm just going to sit right in front of this guy and just keep shooting him. Switch back to macro missiles. Damage boost. More macro missiles. Damage boost again. More macro missiles. Perfect. So at this point, the guy's going to scan our ship, and then he's going to start releasing clones of our ship. And these clones, they move when you move, they shoot when you shoot, and they fire missiles when you fire missiles. So if you're playing casually, and you're ever kind of stressed out, just stop shooting for a little bit, and then dodge these guys. But all I'm going to do is just keep using these macro missiles, and only fire when there's nobody directly above me, because it's safe to do so. Get out of the way. Thank you. There we go. At this point, the game catfishes you. It plays that triumphant music like, hey, you just beat the last boss. You're good to go, man. But it lies to you. You've got one last little thing to go through here. With the macro missiles, they just make quick work of this guy. You just kind of got to keep moving up and down, following him along. They fire lots of little bullets at you. What makes this part tough is that if you... those explosions on the left side of the screen, they keep moving closer and closer. And it makes it really hard to see all the bullets coming at you. But that's it. That's Axelay. thanks for checking it out, guys. I really appreciate it. We're treated to this nice little outro now. And some nice Mode 7 effects. Oh yeah, enemies coming up next, man. Ooh, that's gonna be exciting. Nice, 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 nice.